At the beginning, the scene opened with a view of a building where someone called out to Natsuo, asking about the meeting that had just finished. Natsuo replied that the additional request required a modeling change, so they should schedule another meeting with the client. The person agreed enthusiastically. Another girl then approached and said she wanted to ask about the implementation plan, but Natsuo apologized, explaining that he had another meeting in 5 minutes. With a smile, he said he could only give her a similar case for reference and asked if that would still help. The girl thanked him sincerely. The person sitting beside Natsuo praised his work and remarked that, despite being so busy, he still found time to look after the juniors. He asked whether Natsuo ever said no sometimes. With a calm smile, Natsuo said that he figured it wasn't easy for them to ask for help either, so he just couldn't ignore someone who was struggling. As he walked away, he mentioned that he had a meeting and told the person he'd see them later. The colleague commented that Natsuo was such a good senpai and that he'd love to know what kind of mental strength Natsuo possessed. Right after that, Natsuo suddenly slammed his hand against the wall and apologized aloud for acting all high and mighty like some big senpai. With a tense expression, he admitted that what he'd said was totally off the mark and wondered what would happen if his words made them overthink and eventually quit. He felt scared and thought that a coward like him wasn't cut out for this. He wanted to show them how pathetic he really was, apologize, and get it off his chest. But after a few seconds of silence, he shouted that he absolutely couldn't do that. He told himself that putting on the act of a capable senpai was all for the sake of helping his juniors. He reminded himself that a kohai didn't get to choose their senpai, so he had to hide the coward inside him. He believed that if they ever found out, it would all be over. At that moment, someone suddenly called out to him, addressing him as senpai. Natsuo turned around and saw Yutori. He apologized for suddenly calling her there, saying that he wanted to talk to her about something. Natsuo explained that there was a project being led by a rookie he was mentoring and that he'd really love for Yutori to join too. Smiling, he said there would be lots of their batchmates there, so it was bound to be fun. Yutori, however, with a cold face, asked if by batchmates he meant random people whose only connection to her was joining the company on the same day, and asked whether he actually thought she would go. She started walking away. Natsuo quickly stopped her, asking her to wait. Yutori turned and asked if there was something else. Natsuo said that he was really worried about her and mentioned that he never saw her with anyone. So as her senpai, he just worried about her. Yutori stopped, then coldly said, 10 years. Shocked, Natsuo asked what she meant, and Yutori explained that from someone who just happened to be born 10 years earlier than her, she didn't need to be pitted like that. There was silence for a moment before Natsuo nervously apologized, admitting that he hadn't been much of a good senpai. Yutori told him that it wasn't just him. She hated all senpai because they always looked down on others, were selfish, and acted all high and mighty. She declared that there was no such thing as a good senpai in the world. Natsuo was stunned and said he never meant to come off like that. But upon seeing Yutori's intimidating face, he backed down, telling her to just forget it. Yutori, however, stated that she didn't really think Natsuo was arrogant, but rather that he was a meddlesome and overbearing senpai. She reminded him about the time she was working overtime alone. Natsuo became tense, gasping as his breathing suddenly changed, and tried to apologize, saying he had been meddlesome and would be more careful next time. Suddenly, Yutori slammed him against the nearby wall, leaving him in shock. She asked him why he kept talking to her like everything was normal, saying she just wanted him to leave her alone. Natsuo tried to say something, but Yutori cut him off, warning him that anything more would be considered workplace harassment. After she left, Natsuo sat facing the wall and let out a strained laugh, thinking that she only got that angry when she was around him. He concluded that he really was a huge bother to her. He recalled her words, asking him to stop interfering without consent, and sadly admitted to himself that she was right. Remembering that she said his level of meddling was basically workplace harassment, he apologized repeatedly with a miserable expression. He kept thinking about her words, that she just wanted him to leave her alone, and wondered what he should do from there. He considered being honest, wanting to apologize for acting like some big-shot senpai, and admit that he was just a mentally weak old man, but feared that if that ever got out, he would be finished. Suddenly, Yutori appeared and said that he was right, asking if he was okay, calling him a mentally weak Aji-san. Natsuo felt as if he had taken serious damage and thought it was all over. He muttered an apology, saying that he just wanted to help her, but that being a coward was something he couldn't fix, so he kept hiding it. Tearfully, he admitted that she was right. He really was a useless senpai. Yutori then apologized for misunderstanding him, and Natsuo, still teary-eyed, said sorry and that he didn't mean to make her apologize. Yutori explained that she had always felt Natsuo was different from the other seniors she'd met before, but now she finally understood that he was actually weak and cute. Coming close to his ear, she softly whispered that he was just a weak and cute senpai. Natsuo was shocked, trembling as she confirmed it with a teasing tone. The scene then shifted to Natsuo, thinking that it was only natural and that it was a senpai's duty to support their juniors. He told one of them that they were really improving. The junior apologized, saying they often got anxious and that asking him over and over must be a bother. Natsuo reassured them not to worry, saying that being relied on was part of his job. Smiling kindly, the junior bowed and thanked him sincerely as Natsuo walked away. His face turned anxious again, and he wondered if saying, "Don't worry about that," had sounded like he was brushing them off. He thought maybe he should have shown more understanding instead, but decided to keep hiding his cowardly true nature because pretending to be a capable senpai was his role. Suddenly, Yutori appeared from behind and said that she was joining the meeting tomorrow but was nervous about her presentation. Standing beside him, she asked what she should do to stop being so nervous, then teased that since he was a mentally weak Aji-san, he should know. Natsuo began sweating profusely as she repeated mentally weak Aji-san, and he thought that even though he tried to keep it hidden, his junior Yutori had found him out. Later, when the office was empty, Natsuo sat at his desk and asked Yutori, who was sitting beside him typing, if she was still mad at him about yesterday. Yutori stopped typing and said that since he kept acting like a senior, even though she clearly didn't want him to, it was only natural. But if he apologized, that was enough because she was a kind junior. Natsuo apologized, and Yutori said she forgave him, then stared at him intently. Natsuo thought to himself that it was his fault for causing trouble, but Yutori said that she felt she could get along with the current Natsuo-senpai because he gave such honest, cute reactions, comparing him to her dog at home. Natsuo replied that as long as she would be friendly with him, he didn't mind anything. But when he looked at her phone, she showed him a picture and told him to look at how cute it was. Noticing the time, Natsuo said it was already late and that he would head home, asking if she would too. Yutori said she would stay a bit longer to finish some work. Natsuo told her that she had been working hard lately and that it was getting late, suggesting she head home as well and that he could help her tomorrow. Yutori gave him a death stare, stood up, and said that he was doing it again, acting like a meddling senior. Natsuo became nervous, thinking he had made her mad again. Leaning close to him, Yutori said that when it was just the two of them, he didn't have to act like that. Natsuo, startled, asked what she meant, and Yutori said that if he wanted to get along with her, there was no way she could ever be close with someone who acted all high and mighty like a senpai. With a cold tone, she added that he didn't need to look after her anymore, and that if he stopped doing that, maybe she would be nice enough to get along with him. Natsuo, surprised, said that he didn't think he could do that. Yutori was taken aback, and Natsuo explained that after all, he was still her senior and reminded her about the training period. But before he could finish, Yutori interrupted with a flat, "Is that so?" and slammed into her chair, asking if that meant he didn't actually want to get along with her. Natsuo was stunned as she began mocking him, calling him Natsuo-senpai the meddler, fragile mentality, a total wimpy puppy, and told him to hurry up and give in and take it back already. Natsuo shouted that he would not because that was what he had said back during training. Yutori, with a scary face, remarked that he was such a weak old man, yet annoyingly passionate. Later, Natsuo was sitting facing a wall, muttering that he had said it, and Yutori, standing behind him, asked what he was even talking about. Natsuo reminded her that back during training, she said she wanted to drop out because she couldn't get along with her peers. In a flashback, Natsuo was seen sitting at a desk, saying that he thought being able to connect with others would be good for her. Yutori, standing before him, said that seniors always said the same things and that the normal they talked about was something she couldn't do. She admitted that she had never been good at fitting in, no matter how many times she tried, but insisted that when it came to work, she was better than him, so he should give her something she could do alone. Natsuo remained silent for a moment before agreeing, saying she was right that there were some things people just couldn't do no matter what. He stood up, said "got it," and walked away, but quickly came back, offering to help her and suggesting that they work there together. Yutori asked what made him think that was a good idea, glaring at him, and later sat down saying he would definitely abandon her halfway. Natsuo objected, saying that was a bit much, and asked why she thought that. Yutori replied that she couldn't do the things everyone else could, and wasn't even good at being friendly. Natsuo asked if that alone meant definitely, and with a reassuring smile, said that just that wasn't enough to make him give up on her. Laughing lightly, he apologized for it, and told her that she could do whatever she wanted. Yutori told him that she would only say harsh things from then on, and Natsuo replied that she should at least keep that just for him. Returning to the present, Yutori stood silently before saying that she didn't remember ever saying that. Natsuo accepted it quietly, thinking that it made sense. Yutori remarked that all that effort had been a waste, but Natsuo disagreed, saying that it wasn't really because she talked to him more than before. Playing with her hair, Yutori said nothing for a moment before admitting that he really was such a meddling senpai, though she still didn't like him. Natsuo was surprised, saying that maybe he should stop acting like a senior after all. Yutori then said that there were some good things about him too. When Natsuo asked what, Yutori explained that even with his weak mentality, he never actually gave up. And though he could be a bit much sometimes, he was fun. Natsuo asked if that was really a good thing, and Yutori, sitting beside him, added that he was weak but still tried his best for his juniors, which was what made him a good senpai. With a gentle smile, she told him that no one else was allowed to find out that he was a cute senpai, no matter what she did. Shocked, Natsuo nervously asked what she was going to do to him, saying he wasn't ready for this. Yutori smirked and reminded him that he had said she could do whatever she wanted. Natsuo agreed in a panic. By the way...